Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things. Hello, Boring Review Nation! Gabe!
And Nick from Miyagi Do. What's up?
We are here for another Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday.
You can tell by the attire, Cobra Kai, Miyagi Do. We are reviewing Karate Kid. Now, I believe Nick put this down on one of his top 10 movies of all time. If not, it was an honorable mention. I love the Karate Kid as well. I'm sure it was one of my honorable mentions. I can't remember. We did that so long ago. But, you know, it's funny. We were just talking about it. And we're like, yo, what should we do this week for Throwback Thursday? And all of a sudden, and I saw it. It was like on Netflix. So I was like, oh, okay, click. Let me click on there. Literally, me, Savannah, Alea. It's one of those movies where it doesn't matter. You can just sit down and watch it. You know what I'm saying? And full disclosure, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. Yes, Cobra Kai, okay? I play fantasy football, fantasy baseball. What's my name, Nick, for the longest time?
The No Mercy Leg Sweepers?
No Mercy Leg Sweepers. Or if for abbreviation, it's just sweep the leg. I love Cobra Kai growing up because I thought they were the cool kids, all right? And me and Nick have had this debate, you know, who's the real Karate Kid? First of all, and this has also been discussed on other episodes and TV show, because again, Karate Kid is part of pop culture. On How I Met Your Mother, if you've never heard Barney Stinson, who's what's his real name?
It's
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
If you've never heard his explanation of why, you know, Johnny Lawrence is the real Karate Kid, you gotta watch it. It's hilarious. He's like, look, you know, Daniel learned fake karate at first because he was watching it from TV. He comes into this town, tries to take his girl. You know, Johnny Lawrence was just, you know, trying to defend his territory. So it's a funny defense of him. I get it. Yes, Daniel Russo is quote unquote the good guy here or whatnot. But I love this movie. And listen, any one of you that says that you didn't like Cobra Kai when they were coming to the gym, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai. At the end at the tournament, you're lying. You're lying. I've actually had my students do that at school because we have like
No, you did not.
Like games.
No.
I'm serious, bro. I have my students do that because we were doing kickball games or whatnot, and I had them go on the field and they're chanting Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai. It was
my gosh.
awesome.
Okay, first of all, you are going from the highly reputable source of Barney from How I Met Your Mother. So that just throws out that case. Second of all, I said 4. This is actually my number 3 movie of all time. And sometimes it goes between 1, 2, and 3. 1 is Rocky. 2 is Empire Strikes Back. 3 is Karate Kid. But they are all very, very close. I have such a special place in my heart for this movie. The odd thing enough about this film is it was directed by the same guy that directed Rocky. That's right. John Avildsen directed both movies. These movies came out about 6 years apart from each other. And so you would think the director of my number 1 favorite movie and my 3rd favorite movie of all time be the greatest director of all time. No, because he did Karate Kid 3. He did Rocky 5. He doesn't know when to stop making these movies when they're so great. He did do Karate Kid 2, which I really, really like that movie too. But Karate Kid, I can honestly, without breathing, I can talk about this movie for an entire hour. I love it. I will watch this movie at the drop of a hat, no matter how many times, even though I saw it again for this review just 2 days ago. The music in this movie is absolutely amazing. Yes. Very rarely do you have the soundtrack and the score, in my opinion, are both iconic. You're talking about the movie starts and your family's gathering around. You know, you have that first awesome opening number from Bill Conti when they're pushing the car and they're leaving New Jersey, and it's a do, 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 do. Anyways, he's driving through the mountains and the deserts and everything. Absolutely fantastic. The shots in this movie is unbelievable. It has that low budget feel, but it's just such a good movie. In your mind, it obviously elevates to a huge blockbuster, which it was a huge blockbuster. I can speak for hours about this movie. I absolutely love it. I don't understand anyone that doesn't. There are so many iconic lines. First of all, you said he learned karate from a TV. Technically, it was from a book. Miyagi's fixing his faucet. Learn from book, huh? And he's just
right.
He's doing his little
And he
kick
said,
or whatever.
and I did a couple sessions at the Y.
At the
For those of
Y,
you that don't know what
yes.
it is, the YMCA. You know what I mean? Like that's where you learn karate. No wonder Johnny Lawrence let you have it, cousin. All right.
Dude.
Second of all, I agree with you. You know what? It's an iconic movie. For me, every time I think of Karate Kid, I think about that. You're the best around. Oh man, and that's it. I can't even say anymore. We probably got claimed just for me singing that little part. But those of you that don't know it, just look up Karate Kid Final Tournament, and that is my seat. Oh man, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Esposito is the artist that did that song. I got a funny story about that one too. Talk about Rocky. That was the song that they were going to use in Rocky 3 before Sylvester Stallone came across. Oh my gosh, Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger.
Once he heard Eye of the Tiger, he's like, oh, that's the song for Rocky 3. They had You're the Best for that one. And then they were going to use it for a different film that doesn't come to my mind right now. And so it was just like on the floor for Karate Kid and John Avildsen to pick up. And like you said, holy cow, it's just such a thing of beauty. Again, this movie, it treads on the really nerdy because you have a super nerdy protagonist, which is why I understand your argument. He's whiny. He's doing his best Luke Skywalker impersonation. He is a whiny, nerdy guy who gets this super hot girl in Elizabeth Shue, but he is surrounded by these awesome actors. He himself is a great actor. He showed it in The Outsiders earlier in his career.
Yes.
But he's such a nerdy, such a wimpy guy who needs so much help. But when you get that You're the Best music in that tournament, you believe that this nerdy, wimpy guy who's only known karate for a few months, you believe that he is the best and he can take these guys off. But talking about that whole montage when they're doing the You're the best, I've watched it a million times. And part of the back of my mind is like, there's no way this guy will get to the Final Four. But when you watch each match, if you watch it closely, he wasn't going against the best of the best. And then he had Dutch, who's an awesome bad guy. He is such a creep. He's actually Steve McQueen, the famous actor from the 60s and 70s. That's actually his son. His name's Chad McQueen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this guy's a boss, right? So he got himself out by doing the illegal kicks to the face because he just wanted to punish Daniel LaRusso.
Right.
And so when he goes out, he's like, I don't care. I got to kick him in the face. He gets there by luck. Bobby at the end, who has to, out of commission. I could beat this guy. Come on, sensei.
Yeah.
He has to do the illegal kick. Bobby would have thrown him around in 3 seconds or whatever. So you can see how this wimpy, nerdy guy literally got to the end against Johnny Lawrence.
Right. And I think that, we keep talking about the fighting in here. We keep talking about, I think the best lesson, and, you asked me this a lot of times because I was, a fighter when I was in high school as well. I boxed amateur. That's one of the reasons I moved out to Vegas. And, most fighters don't fight. You don't really catch that too often. Once you know how to fight, you don't have to. And it's the same thing Miyagi teaches. You don't learn karate to fight. You know what I mean? Fighting is a last resort or whatnot. But he taught him, like, look, win or lose, you're just standing up for yourself and you'll never have to fight these guys again and deal with these guys again or whatnot. But it's one of those, like, the lessons Miyagi teaches them are amazing. They're life lessons. And he even tells them, the balance lesson, for instance, it's not just about karate. It's about life. You got to balance entertainment with training. You don't want to just be training all the time. That was the flaw in Cobra Kai's philosophy, is that the trainer at Cobra Kai, as well as he was, he taught it to injure other people. You don't teach it to, because let's be honest, those kids could all fight. Okay, they were in the end of the tournament. Let's look who was there. 2 Cobra Kai guys, and that's
one
because
dude from the other dojo, and then
one dude from the other dojo, and Miyagi Do's, of course, Daniel LaRusso, and that's only because, like you said, Butch got himself out, or Dutch, I should say, got himself out with the illegal kick because they just wanted to punish him. But my point about saying all that is, Cobra Kai, it was a legit dojo. Those guys could bang. But he taught violence. He had his own students striking guys when they're down. You don't ever see that. Forget about karate, boxing, same thing. If we're in the same team, we're in the same gym, I'm not going to try to hit you while you're down or injured. I already got the point. I already got the match. Why am I going to go ahead and take an additional shot? But his whole thing was, even against our adversaries and even against our teammates, no mercy. We show no mercy, and it's 100%. It's so funny because even though quote unquote Johnny Lawrence was the big bad guy, he wasn't. He was just a bully. He was a teenager. The real big bad guy was the guy that taught karate to injured guys, the creep guy. And you see that more in part 2. You also see that when he tells Johnny Lawrence, first he tells, like you said, the friend, I want him out of commission. He's like, but Sensei, I could beat this guy. You got a problem with that?
I don't want to beat.
Yeah, exactly. And these guys are even like, and even when he does it to Russo, what does the kid do? He goes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Like, these are just kids too. So you got to think about it from that perspective. And at the end, when Johnny Lawrence, first of all, he tells Johnny Lawrence, sweep the leg. And Johnny Lawrence looks at him like, you know what I mean? Why would I sweep the leg? Like, it's already injured. You got a problem with that, Mr. Lawrence? No sense. You can see that they're afraid of him. He goes out, sweeps the leg, does what he has to do, still loses the match. And what does he do? He goes and gives LaRusso the trophy. And he's like, you're all right, LaRusso, man. You're all right. And he's even remorseful. These are kids. You know what I mean? So for me, the real bad guy, of course, of the entire episode, of the entire movie, so is the sensei. I forget his name. Kreese. Yeah. Kreese. And it's funny because I like when Mr. Miyagi earlier on goes into his dojo, right? And he's talking all kinds of smack, but he never takes his eyes off him because you can tell this is an untrustworthy dude.
He pushes a guy behind him and he looks at him
and walks out. I love that scene. I absolutely love that scene, bro. Oh, this is also where wax on, wax off comes into play. And even when Savannah was watching a movie the other day, I was geeking when Danny, like you said, Daniel LaRusso starts crying like a little punk. Oh, I haven't learned any karate. Oh, you've taught me.
I love it. I've been learning to be your dang slave. That's what I've been doing.
Exactly. And he said, show me wax on, wax off. Show me, sand the floor. Show me paint the thing. And he goes, now put it all together. And he goes off. I was like, dude, that's how.
And then he goes for the bow, and he's like, no, look, I come back tomorrow. Like, I mean, he proved his point without having to say, I told you so. Come back tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, dude. I love this film. Like I said, my 14-year-old daughter, who's not really into movies or whatever, sat through it the other day. Aiden. Problem was, Alex was in there, and afterwards, Alex thought he was the Karate Kid. Our Alex story, Again, I always go off the rails. My younger son, Alex, they always say you got a firecracker in the bunch, okay? That's my younger son, Alex. So we put him in karate thinking that it was going to calm him down, teach him some discipline. Nick, what happened when Alex was in karate?
He had no mercy. He made people punished when they bothered him at school.
Oh man, twice I get pulled into the principal's office. Yeah, your son was fighting in the playground. Then the one time it was 2 kids, and he was like, well, they were taking the monkey bars and they were being mean to other kids. They were bullies. So I told them they had 2 choices. They could either leave or they could see my fist. True story. My principal was in there and she was vice principal. She was cracking up. Like, you can't make this up. So needless to say, Alex is no longer doing karate. But after the Karate Kid the other day, he's already starting to do moves again. I'm like, oh no, please don't, please don't, please no. Because, he would definitely be a Cobra Kai.
I honestly, I just can't stop thinking about this movie and talking about this movie. First of all, real quick, when Daniel Russo's at the Halloween thing and he's in the shower, he's wearing a Chargers jersey. That's right. This movie has such a great character arc with Daniel Russo. But this movie is absolutely carried by Pat Morita, who plays Mr. Miyagi. Pat Morita does not have that Okinawan accent. He doesn't. He is an Asian American actor. He was in the Happy Days, for crying out loud. And before it was looked as a really offensive, his nickname was the Hip Yip. It really was, when he was a young actor and he was trying to survive. When he got this role, he's done an interview before where he said he was a struggling actor. He was in Hawaii just booking gigs, emceeing stuff just to make ends meet. He gets this role as Mr. Miyagi. I mean, watch, it's on YouTube. It's an amazing story. It takes a long time for him to get this role, and he just wows everybody. I had no idea that wasn't his real accent until I was much older. And I'm like, that's Mr. Miyagi? What's he doing? Unbelievable. He gives such performance. He was nominated for an Oscar, for crying out loud, for Mr. Miyagi. Absolutely amazing. This film just blows everyone away to the point where it stands the test of time, to where we have Cobra Kai, this amazing series that was on YouTube that's coming on Netflix pretty soon, with season 3 and the first two
For
seasons.
those of you, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but those of you that were like me, that were Cobra Kai fans, Johnny Lawrence fans, you have to watch this series. It was on YouTube. You had to pay for it. It's a paid YouTube, but it's moving to Netflix. So I'm assuming they're going to get the first 2 seasons. Netflix picked this thing up because it was so popular. I am telling you, if I loved Johnny Lawrence before, I really love him now. Oh, I really love him now. Oh.
And he has some great moments. He is that same character from the first one who can be a punk, but also have redeeming qualities. It's an amazing series. There's some cheesy moments, especially in season 2, but it's an amazing series nonetheless. William Zabka, who plays Johnny Lawrence. Where was this guy for the last 2 or 3 decades between these 2 successes? I don't care, because this guy's enjoying the spoils. It's absolutely phenomenal. But getting back to the movie.
Can I tell you a story about William Zabka for real quick? I was
Sure.
listening to the behind the scenes of How I Met Your Mother. And the whole thing on How I Met Your Mother, it was a big joke because he actually gets to be on the show. And he's like, he's a real karate kid. He goes to Barney's birthday or whatever. And he's like, my entire career after that went down the window because people would actually think that I was Johnny Lawrence, and they would come up to me in public. I had old ladies spitting at me. I had people, and he said he got typecasted. If you watch interviews with him, and he was saying that I could not get a role unless I was playing like a bad guy. And I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to get typecasted, and I passed up some roles. And then after that, it was just pretty much over. But he speaks about how, I guess he was so believable in this role. Every single bad guy, that's who they wanted to be. And I could see that. You don't want to be the bad guy. Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? Action star from the 80s and 90s. He started off as a bad guy. Blood In, Blood Out, right? No, that wasn't Blood In, Blood Out. What was it? Best of the Best. He was a bad guy in Best of the Best. One big bad guy role. Then you become a good guy. You don't want to necessarily always be typecasted as something in Hollywood, but sometimes it happens. That's what happens. That's the role you are. And I'm sure even today, now that he's enjoying the success from the Cobra Kai show, he still regrets. Like you said, this guy's been missing for 2 decades, if not more. He still regrets turning down some of those typecasted roles as the bully and the bad guy. I could see you not doing it, but like he said, he'd be out with his mother because he was still a kid. He'd be out with his mother, bro. And people in public would be like yelling at him. They was angry at him. Like, oh, you're horrible. You suck. And he's like, I'm an actor. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it was a role. And I'm sure there's been roles like that have really stuck with people and affected their life personally.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and then the amazing thing about William Zabka is he didn't know karate before he took this role. He found out he was going to play a karate guy, and so he took some last-minute lessons. His natural athleticism is unbelievable because you can see him jump from the floor onto his feet in that match with Dan LaRusso. But this film, I feel like there's so much I'm not saying because I absolutely love this movie. You have this amazing character art with Dan LaRusso. You have this amazing relationship between Miyagi and Daniel's son, and the humor that Miyagi brings to that role. I mean, he's honestly ticked when Daniel's son catches the fly with a chopstick and he's not able to. He's beginner's luck. I mean, he has this guy. He is such a jerk sometimes, and it's so awesome to watch when he's having him do the chores where Dan LaRusso thinks he's being a slave, and he finishes that one part of the fence, and he's like, hey, pretty good. I finished. That's pretty cool. What are we going to do now? And he's like, you finished? I want you to do all the fence. And you can see it wrap around for miles, and he's like, and then Miyagi just walks away. And then he comes to him like 5 hours later. All right, man, it was exhausting, but I finished pretty good, huh? And he's like, both sides? And not yet. I mean, you can tell the frustration. And then the last day, Miyagi had to know that Daniel's son was on his last leg. So he just leaves him a note. Don't forget left to right, and don't forget breathe in, breathe out. I mean, it's unbelievable. When he's trying to complain, he's walking away washing the cars. Breathe in, breathe out. Very important. Don't forget. I use that line all the time. There are so many amazing lines. No mercy, obviously. Mercy is for the weak. We don't train to be merciful here. I love that speech. There's so many moments, but that last scene, that last battle with Johnny Lawrence, Daniel LaRusso gets the first 2 points super quick, and you're like, hey, this guy actually has learned a few things. The move where he sweeps him down the ground and hits him in the back, that's the same move that Miyagi did to him when he was showboating, when he was learning how to punch.
Right.
And then Johnny Lawrence roars back, and he gets a point, gets a few points, loses a point, gets a point, loses a point because his frustration's there. My favorite moment in this entire movie is when Johnny Lawrence gets so fed up that he just grabs the guy's injured leg and does the elbow to it. The music comes on. It's all against the odds. He has no choice. His leg doesn't work at all. So he has to bust out the crane technique. I have rewinded that scene over and over and over. And even before that, when he's injured because Bobby injures him and he takes him into the locker room, it's an amazing scene where he says, Mr. Miyagi, can you do that hand thing to repair my leg so I can go back and fight? Right. Miyagi hates fighting. He doesn't want him to fight. He said, there's no reason to fight no more. You already proved a point. And Danielson, the student, talks to the teacher and he says, no, I haven't. They're going to know that I can take a beating. That's it. I haven't proven anything. I don't have balance. And there's a moment where Miyagi realizes that Danielson is actually correct, that he can't argue with him, that he cares about him. And so he says, close eye. And then you have that slap and that boom. And if you really think about it, someone doing this really fast is not going to heal nothing. It's the stupidest thing of all time. But you believe Miyagi has some kind of magical powers where he's able to heal this thing that a doctor couldn't take care of. And just the whole thing, the heart that Danielson has, he wants to go out there and fight. And getting to your little point about how Johnny Lawrence is the real Karate Kid and Danielson is the punk. What did Johnny Lawrence have with him every single time? He had his 5 or 6 deep boys with him going off this guy who doesn't even know karate, pushing him down hillsides, beating him up at the beach, all these kind of things.
Okay, you get all of that.
After him.
You get all of that.
Beats the junk out of him at the fence, and then they get worked over at by Miyagi, Spider-Man. I mean, Lawrence is a punk. Come on.
I give you all of that. Here's the thing, though. Why did Dutch get disqualified?
Why did Dutch get disqualified? Because he's a psychopath.
But what did he do?
He kicked him in the face. He did a illegal move. Lost a point.
He lost a point for that. Why did Johnny Lawrence lose a point there?
See, Johnny Lawrence didn't lose the point for sweeping the leg. Johnny Lawrence, he actually got a point because he swept the leg and him in the face with the foot, a legal hit. He lost a point not because of what the sensei said. Sensei did not say do anything with the elbow. He did it himself out of frustration, and that cost him a point. He also punched him in the face when he was frustrated. That was illegal contact to the face, and he got a warning before he lost a point.
That was illegal contact.
So that was Johnny Lawrence losing his temper.
And Johnny Lawrence even says it, and spoiler alert, in the new Cobra Kai TV show, Daniel LaRusso won that tournament with an illegal kick. The crane kick was illegal because it was a kick to the face, and contact to the face is illegal. Contact to the face is illegal.
No. If
I comments, guys, let's go in the comments.
I have watched this movie so many times, and I've looked at it from all angles. Trust me. He gets a warning for illegal contact to the face because he used a closed fist. When he sweeps the leg, this gives him his first point. When he sweeps the leg and he kicks him in the face, they give him a point. It's a clean point. Watch back the tape. I'm telling you, it's not the illegal kick to the face because Johnny Lawrence got a point himself with the kick to the face.
I thought you couldn't make contact with the face, though.
Watch it. He swept him to get him off balance, and then he kicks him in the face.
I got to double check that.
If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I'm telling you.
In any event, and like I said, it's spoiler alert, but obviously in the new Cobra Kai TV show, both Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso are there, and they obviously have a kind of relationship, and they're talking about it. So he's talking about how he won the tournament, and Johnny Lawrence is like, with an illegal kick. You know what I'm saying? Because it was, the crane technique, it was something he had never seen. He wasn't expecting it. It is a great moment when he pulls it off because he's injured, but
if done right, no can defend. Come on, man.
But anyway, we've gone super long on this Throwback Thursday. Anything else, Nick?
I absolutely love it. Like I said, this is my number 3 all time. And everyone has those movies that they connect with and they can watch time and time again. For me, I love an underdog story. Is it any surprise that my number 1, number 3 are the ultimate underdog stories? No, it's not. I root for the crappiest teams. We've established that. I hope that my crappy teams can one day ride off into the sunset like Danielson and like Rocky Balboa did. I absolutely love it. A triple+, highest score I can give. It's so much of my childhood, so much good music. The guy is high in Minute Maid, for crying out loud. I love it.
Oh, you know what? I will let you end it on that because.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I got to say one more thing. I just got to say one more thing. Justice for Daniel LaRusso. His friends are the biggest punks of all time. They invite him to the beach, right? And then he gets beat up by this karate master, Johnny Lawrence. And they say, where'd you find this guy, man? Come on, he'll be all right. Leave him there. What a loser. They leave him there after he's beat up. He's brand new there. But who's there at the very end when he wins the tournament? Those friends come all up and they shake his hand and they rub his head. Fake friends, bunch of punks. That's all I want to say.
Oh, you can tell Nick is really in his feelings about this movie. He loves him some Daniel Russo. But anyway, that's our review for the Karate Kid. Another Throwback Thursday, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Tons of fun. We love doing this. You know, the calling card of the thing is we know all things. But for today, it's gonna be sweep the leg.